They tell you that betrayal cuts deep, that discovering your wife's infidelity while you're serving overseas is one of the worst things a soldier can face. But let me tell you something. Finding out her lover put your kid in the hospital? That's a different kind of rage. My name is Greg Robinson, and I'm 40 years old. When I got that call from my mother-in-law Diane, telling me my 7-year-old son Tyler was in the emergency room with a concussion and a broken arm because some man named Damien Taylor had been disciplining him, something inside me shifted. The hurt turned cold. The shock became calculation. I came home from Afghanistan and beat Damien within an inch of his life in my own living room, and I don't regret it for a second. But let me start from the beginning. Before I go any further, let me know in the comments where in the world you are watching from. And make sure to subscribe because tomorrow I will share a story you don't want to miss. I'd been in Afghanistan for 8 months when the satellite phone rang. Middle of the night, our forward operating base outside Kandahar. I knew before I answered that something was wrong. Nobody calls at 0300 unless it's life or death. Greg? Greg, is that you? Diane's voice came through broken, hysterical. My stomach dropped. Diane, what's wrong? It's Tyler. He's in the hospital. Emergency room. She was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. I sat up fast, boots hitting the floor. What happened? Is he okay? Concussion. Broken arm. Greg, there was a man at the house, and Tyler fell down the stairs, and Riza won't answer her phone, and I didn't know what to do. Slow down. What man? Who was at my house? I don't know his name. Riza wouldn't tell me. Greg, Tyler's asking for you. My jaw clenched so hard I heard my teeth grind. Which hospital? County General. Greg, you need to come home. I'm coming. Stay with him. Don't let anyone near him. You understand? Nobody. I hung up and went straight to my commanding officer's quarters. Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Webb answered the door in his undershirt, took one look at my face, and stepped aside. My son's in the hospital. Concussion, broken arm. I need emergency leave. Webb didn't hesitate. I'll start the paperwork. How soon can you be packed? 10 minutes. It took 26 hours to get home. Military transport to Bagram, commercial flight to Frankfurt, another to Atlanta, then a rental car for the final 2-hour drive. Every minute felt like drowning. I kept seeing Tyler's face, bright eyes, gap-toothed smile, the way he'd clung to me when I left for deployment. He'd cried, asked me not to go, and I'd promised him I'd come back safe. But I hadn't been there to keep him safe. The worst-case scenarios played on repeat. Brain damage, internal bleeding. What if he'd fallen differently? What if whatever happened had been worse? And who the hell was this man Diane mentioned? Some stranger in my house while I was getting shot at half a world away. I remembered the last time I'd spoken to Riza, maybe 2 weeks back. She'd seemed distant, distracted. I'd chalked it up to the stress of being a single parent while I was deployed. Now I wondered what I'd missed. By the time I reached County General, I hadn't slept in 36 hours. Still wore my combat boots, uniform pants, and a civilian jacket I'd thrown on in Atlanta. I moved through those hospital corridors with the same precision I used clearing buildings in Kandahar. Focused, controlled, deadly calm on the surface while fury built underneath. Room 347. The number burned itself into my brain. Tyler was sleeping when I walked in. 7 years old and so damn small in that hospital bed. His left arm was in a cast from wrist to elbow. Dark purple bruises covered the left side of his face, cheek, temple, around his eye. An IV fed into his right hand. My hands clenched into fists. My son, my baby boy, who still asked me to check for monsters under his bed, who loved dinosaurs and baseball and building Lego sets. Someone had done this to him. Diane sat in the chair beside the bed. Her eyes were red and swollen, makeup smeared, hands twisted in her lap. When she saw me, she stood fast, relief flooding her face mixed with something else. Fear, maybe. "Greg, thank God you're here." "Where's Riza?" My voice came out low, controlled. The kind of calm that people who knew me understood meant I was 3 seconds from violence. Diane's face crumpled. She's at home." "At home?" I stared at her. "Our son is in the hospital, and she's at home? Greg, there's something you need to know. Who was the man, Diane?" She looked away, toward Tyler, anywhere but at me. Her hands shook. "Diane, who was the man?" "His name is Damien," she whispered. "Damien Taylor. He's been staying at the house. Greg, I didn't know until today. I swear I didn't know." The rest of her words faded into white noise. Staying at the house. Some man named Damien Taylor had been living in my home, around my son, while I was deployed. And now Tyler was in a hospital bed with a concussion and a broken arm. I looked down at my hands. They were steady. That's what 8 years of combat training does. You learn to channel rage into something useful, something precise. "How long?" I asked. "I don't know. Riza won't talk to me." When I got here, the doctor said Tyler fell down the stairs. They asked about the home environment, about who was supervising him. "I need to go. Greg, stay with Tyler. I'll be back." I walked out before she could argue. 12 minutes to my house. I timed it at every red light, watching the numbers tick by on the dashboard clock. With every passing second, I felt my jaw clench tighter, felt that cold rage settle deeper into my bones. Someone had hurt my son, and I was about to make damn sure they understood exactly what that cost. I didn't knock. Why would I? It was my house. The key turned smooth in the lock. She hadn't even changed it. The door swung open to silence at first, then low voices drifting from the living room. Relaxed, comfortable, like they belonged there. I walked through my own front hallway and stopped in the doorway to the living room. They were on the couch. Riza and some guy I'd never seen before. Mid-30s, soft hands, the kind of build that came from a gym membership he barely used. He sat way too close to my wife. His hand rested on her thigh. They both jumped when they saw me. Riza went pale, her mouth opening and closing like she couldn't find air. "Greg, you're home. I didn't know." "Yeah, I'm home." I kept my voice level, deadly calm. "Got a call that my son was in the hospital. Funny thing is, you didn't make that call. Your mother did. So what the fuck is going on?" The guy stood up. "Bad move. Look, man, this is between you and your wife." I stepped forward. "My wife? Did you just say, my wife? Like you have any fucking right to talk about her?" My eyes locked on his. "Did you put your hands on my son?" "It was an accident," Riza started. "I'm talking to him." I didn't look away from this piece of shit who thought he could stand up in my living room and explain himself. "Answer the question." His jaw tightened, trying to look tough. Tyler was running around, being a brat. I told him to stop. He didn't listen. He tripped. Being a brat. My 7-year-old son, who this stranger had no right to even speak to, much less discipline, tripped down the stairs hard enough to break his arm and give him a concussion. I turned to Riza. "How long?" She stared at me, tears already forming. "How long has this been going on?" She didn't answer. "How long?" 4 months, she whispered. 4 months. While I was dodging IEDs and watching my brothers bleed out in the sand, she'd been fucking this asshole in our bed. For 4 months. The guy, I didn't even know his name yet, puffed his chest out. "Look, buddy, I don't know what she told you about your marriage, but it's been over for a while." I moved. Combat training takes over in moments like this. You don't think, you act. One punch, straight to his jaw with every ounce of force I had. His head snapped back and he went down hard, crashing into the coffee table, wood splintering under his weight. I was on him before Riza could even scream. 8 months. 8 months of heat and sand and blood. 8 months of watching friends die. 8 months of lying awake wondering if my family was safe, if Tyler was doing okay in school, if Riza was managing. And this whole time, she'd been letting this piece of shit play house in my home. My fists found his face again. And again. I heard Riza screaming, felt her pulling at my shoulder, but it didn't register. Every punch carried weight. Tyler's broken arm, the bruises on his face, the betrayal, the lies, everything. His nose broke under my knuckles. Blood sprayed across the hardwood floor. He tried to cover his face, gurgling something that might have been, "Stop." But I didn't stop. Not until his hands dropped and his eyes rolled back and he went limp beneath me. I stood up. My knuckles were split, bleeding, but I barely felt it. "You ever come near my son again," I said, looking down at his barely conscious form, "and I'll finish this. You understand me?" He gurgled something through the blood. "Good enough." I turned. Riza had her phone in her hand, shaking, screen lit up. "Put the phone down." "Greg, you need to calm down." I said, "Put it down." I stepped toward her. "You want to call the cops? Go ahead. Tell them about your affair. Tell them how your boyfriend put our son in the hospital. Tell them how a decorated Army Ranger came home and found this piece of shit in his house. See how that plays out." She lowered the phone. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "This trash is leaving. Now. And you and I are going to have a very long conversation about custody, divorce, and how you're going to explain to Tyler why Mommy doesn't live here anymore." The guy managed to roll onto his side, started crawling toward the door. Blood dripped from his face onto my floor. Riza moved toward him. I blocked her path. "Choose carefully," I said. "You help him. You leave with him. Right now. Make your choice." She froze. He made it to the door, fumbling with the handle, finally getting it open. I heard him stumble down the front steps, then the sound of a car door, an engine starting. Tires squealed as he fled. Riza stood there shaking, tears streaming down her face. "Greg, please, we can work this out." My phone buzzed. I pulled it out, glanced at the screen. A text from my attorney. Yeah. I'd called him from the layover in Atlanta. I'd known this was coming the moment Diane mentioned some man. Temporary custody order filed. Emergency hearing tomorrow morning. Documentation of child's injuries submitted. I showed Riza the screen. "My lawyer's been busy." Her eyes went wide as she read the text. Kenneth Hansen. I'd retained him 2 years ago when I updated my will before deployment. Smart guy. Former JAG officer. He understood military families. "The hospital documented Tyler's injuries," I said. "Every bruise, every break. Your mother gave a statement about Damien's presence in the house, and in about 6 hours, a process server is going to hand you divorce paper." Her face crumbled. "Greg, I made a mistake." "No." I pocketed my phone. "A mistake is forgetting to pay a bill. A mistake is buying the wrong cereal. You made a choice. Multiple choices. Every single day for 4 months. You chose to let that man into our home. You chose to let him around our son. You chose to ignore what was happening right in front of you. And one of those choices put my son in a hospital bed with a broken arm and a concussion. It was an accident. I don't care." My voice stayed level, cold. "You want to know what your choices look like now? Here's your option. You pack a bag. You leave tonight. You show up to that hearing tomorrow morning prepared to agree to my terms. Full custody. Supervised visitation. Whatever the judge decides is appropriate for a mother who let her boyfriend hurt her child. You can't. Or," I continued, "I make this ugly. I make it public. I make sure your parents know exactly what you did. Your friends, your co-workers, everyone. And I've got 8 years of brothers in arms who will testify to what kind of father I am and what kind of wife abandons her family while her husband's deployed in a combat zone. She was shaking now, tears streaming. Where am I supposed to go? I don't give a damn. Call your boyfriend. Oh, wait, he's probably at the ER getting his face stitched up. Call a hotel. Call a friend. Figure it out. That's what adults do when they make choices. They deal with the consequences. She stared at me for a long moment. I stared back. 8 years of marriage. I'd loved this woman. Built a life with her. Trusted her with everything that mattered. All of it gone. Burned away the moment she chose someone else over our son's safety. Finally, she turned and walked upstairs. I heard drawers opening, closet doors, the sound of a suitcase zipper. 20 minutes later, she came down with a rolling suitcase and a duffel bag. At the door, she stopped, turned. I do love him, Tyler. I never meant for any of this. Get out. She flinched like I'd hit her. Then she opened the door and walked into the night. I locked the door behind her. Deadbolt. Chain. Then I stood there for a moment, breathing, letting the adrenaline drain out of my system. My knuckles were still bleeding. I washed them in the kitchen sink, wrapped them in gauze from the first aid kit. The living room was a mess, coffee table broken, blood on the floor, throw pillows scattered. I'd deal with it later. Right now, I needed to see my son. The drive back to County General took 15 minutes. I found Tyler's room on the second floor, pediatric ward. Diane had gone home, probably emotionally exhausted. The nurse said visiting hours were over, but when I explained I'd just gotten back from Afghanistan, she made an exception. Tyler was awake when I walked in. His face lit up despite the pain, despite the bruises, despite everything. "Dad, you're home!" I sat beside his bed and took his good hand. His small fingers wrapped around mine, and something in my chest broke and healed at the same time. "I'm home, buddy, and I'm not leaving again. Promise. I promise." He smiled. That beautiful, gap-toothed smile I'd been dreaming about for 8 months. "Does your arm hurt?" "A little. The doctor said I can get a cool cast, maybe blue or green. Whatever color you want." "Where's Mom?" My jaw tightened. She had to go take care of some things. "But I'm here, and I'm staying." He seemed satisfied with that answer. Kids are perceptive, though. He knew something had changed. He just didn't know how much yet. The emergency hearing was scheduled for 9 a.m. I had 12 hours to prepare. 12 hours to make sure I walked into that courtroom with everything I needed to keep my son safe. I wasn't leaving anything to chance. The courtroom smelled like old wood and stale coffee. I sat beside Kenneth Hansen, my attorney, watching Judge Albert McKinley flip through the stack of documents on his bench. Hospital records, Diane's statement, my deployment papers, everything laid out in black and white. Riza sat across the aisle with her attorney, Jeffrey Adamson. She looked like she hadn't slept. Good. Judge McKinley was in his 50s, gray at the temples, the kind of face that had seen too many of these cases. He didn't waste time. "Mr. Hansen, walk me through this." Kenneth stood. "Your Honor, the facts are straightforward. My client, Staff Sergeant Greg Robinson, was deployed in Afghanistan when his 7-year-old son Tyler sustained a concussion and a fractured ulna. The injuries occurred while Mrs. Robinson's," he paused, "companion was present in the home. The grandmother, Diane Parker, made the emergency call. Mrs. Robinson did not contact her deployed husband. Medical records confirm the severity of Tyler's injuries." Judge McKinley looked at the hospital report. "Concussion. Broken arm. How did this happen, Mrs. Robinson?" Riza's attorney stood quickly. "Your Honor, if I may?" I asked Mrs. Robinson. Riza's voice was barely audible. "Tyler fell down the stairs. While your companion was watching him?" "He was—" "Damien was in the house, yes. And where were you?" "I was there. Upstairs." Judge McKinley's expression didn't change. but something cold entered his eyes. Your son fell down the stairs hard enough to break his arm and give him a concussion, and you were in the house? It happened so fast. Mr. Adamson, Judge McKinley cut her off. Make your argument. Adamson cleared his throat. Your Honor, Mrs. Robinson is a devoted mother who made an error in judgment regarding her companion. Her companion, Judge McKinley interrupted, put a 7-year-old boy in the hospital with a concussion and a broken arm, while the boy's father was serving overseas in a combat zone. Next argument. The silence stretched out. You could hear it. The complete absence of anything Adamson could say that would matter. Your Honor, Adamson tried again, we're asking for joint custody. Denied. Temporary, full legal and physical custody is awarded to Staff Sergeant Robinson. Mrs. Robinson is granted supervised visitation only, pending a follow-up hearing in 90 days. We're adjourned. The gavel came down. Kenneth leaned toward me. That's about as clean as it gets. I nodded. Didn't trust myself to speak yet. Riza was crying across the aisle. Adamson was packing his briefcase with quick, frustrated movements. I stood and walked out before either of them could approach me. The courthouse parking lot was half empty. Morning sun, cool October air. I was halfway to my truck when I saw him. Damien, leaning against Riza's car like he had any right to be there. His face was still bruised from our last conversation. Stitches above his eyebrow. Split lip healing crooked. He pushed off the car when he saw me. You need to back off. I stopped walking. I'm sorry. What? What happened to Tyler was an accident, and you're using it to destroy Riza. Do you have a death wish? I kept my voice level, calm. Because I thought I made myself clear the other night. You assaulted me. I could press charges. Do it. I took a step closer. Go ahead. I'll make sure the prosecutor knows you were trespassing in my home, that you injured my minor child, that you were engaged in an extramarital affair with my wife while I was deployed in a combat zone. See which one of us a jury sympathizes with. His jaw tightened, but he didn't move. But since you brought it up, I continued, I did some checking. Damien Taylor, assistant manager at Henderson Automotive, married, 3 kids of your own. Does your wife know where you've been spending your evenings? His face went white. Actually, white. Here's a thought. I pulled out my phone. I've got your wife's number right here. Maybe she'd like to know what you've been up to. Maybe she'd like to see the hotel receipts, the text messages, all of it. I started dialing. Wait. His hands came up. Wait. Or, I said, finger hovering over the call button, you tell Riza it's over. Right now. You block her number. You disappear from her life completely. And if I ever see you near my son, near my house, anywhere in my orbit, I send your wife everything. Every text, every receipt, every hotel record. We clear? He was shaking. This man who'd had the audacity to put his hands on my son. We clear? I repeated. Yes. I'll tell her it's over. Good choice. He walked away. Fast. Nearly stumbled getting into his car. I was still standing there when Riza came out of the courthouse. She saw me. Saw Damien's car pulling out of the lot. What did you say to him? I looked at her. This woman I'd married. Built a life with. Trusted. Doesn't matter. He's done with you. I called my commanding officer the day after the custody hearing. I need extended leave, sir. My son's been hospitalized. His mother's out of the picture. I'm all he's got right now. There was a pause. How long are we talking, Robinson? 6 months, maybe more. That's a big ask. I know, sir, but I've got 8 years in. Clean record. And my kid needs me home. Another pause. Longer this time. Approved. Take care of your boy, Robinson. Thank you, sir. I hung up and looked at the list I'd made. First item. Find Tyler a therapist. Someone who specialized in this kind of thing. Trauma, family disruption, broken trust. Took me 3 days of research and phone calls before I found Dr. Leslie Whitmore, child psychologist, specialized in kids who'd been through hell. Her office was calm, toys in the corner, soft lighting. She met with me first. "Tyler's been through a significant betrayal," she said. "His primary caregiver allowed someone into his safe space who hurt him. That's not something you fix overnight." "I know, but I need to try." "Good. That's the right answer." Second item on my list: new school. Tyler's old elementary had too many people who knew our business. Too many whispers, too many pitying looks from other parents. I found Riverside Elementary across town. Good reputation. Clean building. Nobody there knew us. Fresh start, I told Tyler the night before his first day. New kids, new teachers. Nobody knows anything except that you're Greg Robinson's son. He looked up at me. "What if they ask about Mom?" "You tell them whatever you want. Or you tell them it's none of their business. Your call, buddy." He nodded, slowly. "I'll be here when you get home. Every day. I promise." My parents called 2 weeks later. "We're moving," my mother Eunice announced. No preamble, just stated it like fact. "What?" "We found a house 10 minutes from you, 3 bedrooms, closes in 6 weeks." "Mom, you can't just—" "Your son needs family around him, Greg. And your father and I aren't getting any younger. This is where we need to be." I heard my father Nelson's voice in the background. "Already got a buyer for our place in South Carolina. Good price, too." "Dad, it's done, son. We'll be there by Thanksgiving." And they were. Moved into a brick ranch with a big backyard. My mother started showing up every afternoon when Tyler got home from school, making him snacks, helping with homework. My father taught Tyler how to throw a baseball properly, patient and steady. Watching them together, it reminded me of my own childhood, the smell of my mother's kitchen, my father's hands guiding mine on a bat. That feeling of being completely safe because the people who loved you actually showed up. 3 months in, Tyler started looking like himself again. He laughed more, easier, played with the kids in the neighborhood, pick up basketball, bike rides, normal kid stuff. His grades came back strong. Teacher emails about how well he was adjusting. But then there were the supervised visits. Every other weekend, I'd drive Tyler to the visitation center. Riza would be waiting in that sterile little room with the observation window. And every time I saw her, she looked worse. Weight falling off, dark circles, hair unwashed. During one visit, I watched through the glass as Tyler barely spoke. Riza tried. She brought toys, asked about school. But Tyler just sat there, answers short. Body language closed off. After 30 minutes, he asked if he could leave. I found Riza in the parking lot afterward, crying so hard she could barely breathe. "He hates me," she said. "My own son hates me." I leaned against my truck. "He doesn't hate you." "Then why won't he talk to me?" "He doesn't trust you. There's a difference." She looked up, mascara running down her face. "Greg, I'm his mother." "Then you should have acted like it." "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" My voice stayed level, controlled. "You chose Damien over Tyler. Every day for 4 months. And when that choice put our son in the hospital, you didn't call me. You didn't protect him. So no, Riza. You don't get to play the victim here." She had nothing to say to that. Dr. Whitmore's sessions became routine. Every Thursday at 4. I sat in on every single one. Listened as Tyler talked about being scared when Damien yelled. About not understanding why his mom chose Damien over him. About wondering if I was going to leave again too. That last one hit hard. "I'm not leaving," I told him after one session. "I'm here. Every day." "But you left before." "I was deployed." "That's different. That was orders. But I'm done with that now. I'm staying right here." Today's session, Dr. Whitmore asked to speak with me and my parents together. We sat in her office, Me, my mother, my father. Tyler's making real progress, she said. But I want to be clear about something. The trust he lost with his mother? That's not coming back quickly. Maybe not ever, depending on how things go. My mother's hand found mine. Squeezed. What he needs now, Dr. Whitmore continued, is consistency, stability, people who show up and keep showing up. You're giving him that. All three of you. December. 6 months since I'd beaten Damien Taylor bloody on my living room floor. I sat beside Kenneth Hansen in Judge McKinley's courtroom, watching Riza across the aisle. She looked fragile, breakable, nothing like the woman I'd married. Jeffrey Adamson stood, clearing his throat. Your Honor, Mrs. Robinson has attended every supervised visit. She loves her son deeply. Despite past mistakes, she deserves the opportunity to co-parent. Past mistakes? Kenneth cut in. Her affair partner hospitalized a 7-year-old child. Judge McKinley held up a hand. Mr. Hansen, you'll have your turn. Kenneth nodded, sat back down, confident. He'd told me this morning. We've got this. Don't worry. I wasn't worried. Adamson continued his argument. Something about rehabilitation, about Riza attending counseling, about second chances. I stopped listening. Kenneth called my mother first. Eunice Robinson took the stand, her hand shaking slightly as she swore the oath. Mrs. Robinson, Kenneth began, you've been living near your son and grandson for the past 3 months. What changes have you observed in Tyler? My mother's voice steadied. He's a different child, happier. He laughs now, plays with other kids. Before, when Riza was still in the house, he was withdrawn, scared. Scared of what? Of that man, Damien. Tyler told me Damien yelled at him, pushed him around, and Riza never stopped it. Adamson objected. Hearsay. Judge McKinley overruled. My mother continued. Greg's given Tyler stability, safety, everything a child needs. He's there every morning, every night. Tyler knows he can count on his father. My father took the stand next. Nelson Robinson didn't say much. He never did. But what he said mattered. My son spent 8 years serving this country, he told the court. He called home every chance he got. Always asked about Tyler first. Always. And when he found out his wife had put their son in danger, he came home and did what any father should do. He protected his child. Kenneth asked about the supervised visits. My father's jaw tightened. Tyler doesn't want to go. He asks if he has to. Every time. That tells you everything you need to know. Dr. Whitmore was next. Professional, clinical, devastating. Tyler experienced significant trauma, she testified. Not just from the physical injury, but from the betrayal of trust. His mother allowed someone into their home who hurt him. Tyler stated explicitly in our sessions that he doesn't feel safe around his mother. Does Tyler want to live with his mother? Kenneth asked. No, he's made that very clear. He wants to stay with his father. Adamson tried cross-examination, asked if children always know what's best for them. Dr. Whitmore didn't blink. In cases of trauma and betrayal, children know exactly who makes them feel safe. Tyler feels safe with his father, not his mother. Then Kenneth called my brothers. Staff Sergeant Thomas Jang went first. Talked about serving with me in Afghanistan, about how I kept Tyler's photos in my gear, about the care packages I sent home between missions. Robinson was the best father I knew, Jang said. And we were in a war zone. He still made time for his son, every single day. Sergeant First Class Brody Harrison testified next. Same story, different details. Captain Daniel Sanders closed it out. I've served with hundreds of men. Greg Robinson is the kind of father every kid deserves. Present, dedicated, willing to sacrifice anything for his family. I watched Riza across the aisle. She was crying. Too late for tears now. Adamson put Riza on the stand. She wore a conservative dress, minimal makeup, played the part well. "I made a terrible mistake," she said, voice breaking. "I let loneliness cloud my judgment. I should have protected Tyler better. I know that now. But I love my son. I want to be a better mother. I deserve a second chance." Some of it sounded rehearsed. Some of it sounded genuine. Didn't matter. Kenneth stood for cross-examination. "Mrs. Robinson, when Tyler was hospitalized with a concussion and a broken arm, did you call your husband? He was overseas. Yes or no?" "No." "Did you allow Damien Taylor to discipline your son?" It wasn't like that." "Yes or no?" Silence. "Mrs. Robinson?" "Yes." "And in the past 3 months, how many supervised visits have you missed?" Her attorney started to object, but Riza answered. 4. Kenneth let that hang in the air. No further questions. Judge McKinley took 10 minutes. When he came back, his expression told me everything. Full legal and physical custody awarded to Gregory Robinson. Supervised visitation for Riza Robinson every other weekend. House equity split equally. Mrs. Robinson is responsible for her own legal fees. The gavel came down. I stood, shook Kenneth's hand. Outside, Riza was waiting. "You destroyed my life," she said, voice breaking, eyes red. I looked at her. Really looked at her. "No, you destroyed your life. Greg, you chose him over our son. You let him hurt Tyler. You didn't call me when it mattered. Every single one of those was your choice. I made a mistake. Stop calling it a mistake. You made choices, day after day for 4 months, and now you get to live with the consequences." She had nothing left to say. I walked to my truck, drove home to Tyler. The call came 2 weeks after the final hearing. I was sitting on the back porch, watching Tyler throw a baseball against the side of the garage. Over and over. The rhythm was almost meditative. My phone buzzed. Major Vincent Parker, my CO. "Robinson," I answered. "Greg, good to hear your voice. How's stateside treating you?" "Better than Kandahar." He laughed. Short, professional. "Listen, I've got an opportunity for you. Non-deployment position. Combat training instructor at Fort Benning, Georgia. Your experience, your leadership, you'd be perfect for it." I watched Tyler miss a catch. The ball rolled into the grass. "Stateside," Parker continued. "No more deployments. You'd be training the next generation of Rangers. Good pay bump, career advancement." "Georgia," I said. "Yeah, Fort Benning. You'd need to relocate. But when?" 6 weeks, maybe 8. Tyler picked up the ball, threw it again. Missed again, laughed at himself. "Greg, you there?" "I'm here. This is a good opportunity. Real good. Not many guys get offers like this." I looked through the kitchen window. My mother was helping Tyler with something earlier. His math homework was still spread across the table. My father sat in the living room reading the paper. They'd sold their house in South Carolina. Moved here. For Tyler. Tyler was thriving at his new school. Had friends. Had stability. And I was supposed to rip him away from all of it? "Major Parker," I said, "I appreciate the offer. I really do. But 8 years is enough. My son needs me here more than the Army needs me at Fort Benning." Silence on the other end. "I'm requesting an honorable discharge," I said. "Greg, you're throwing away your career." "No, I'm choosing my family. That's what I should have been able to do all along. You've got a future in the Army. I've got a future with my son. That matters more." Parker sighed, long and heavy. "You're sure about this?" "Completely." "All right. I'll start the paperwork. You're a good soldier, Robinson. Better father, I guess." "Thanks, Major." I hung up. Tyler came running over. "Dad! Did you see that throw?" "I saw it." "You're getting better. Grandpa says I should try out for Little League in the spring." "You should. I'll be there for every game." He grinned, ran back to his ball. The discharge paperwork took a month. In the meantime, I started job hunting. Turned out 8 years as an Army Ranger with an active security clearance opened doors. Blackstone Defense Solutions called me within a week of submitting my resume. Security consultant, private defense contractor, good pay, no travel, home every evening. I took the interview. They offered me the job the same day. When can you start? The hiring manager asked. As soon as my discharge is official. Perfect. My first day at Blackstone, I left the office at 5:30. Drove straight home. Walked through the door at 6. Tyler looked up from his homework. Blinked. "You're home," he said. "Yeah, but it's still light out." "I know." He stood up, slowly. "Does this mean you won't have to leave anymore?" I knelt down, eye level with, "I'm done leaving. I'll be here for every baseball game, every school event, every bedtime, all of it." He hugged me, hard. My mother started crying from the kitchen, happy tears. My father came over, clapped me on the shoulder. "You made the right choice." "I know. Some things matter more than rank or career advancement." "Yeah, they do." My mother hugged me next, tight. "I'm so proud of you." "Thanks, Mom." The routine settled in. Up at 6, breakfast with Tyler, drive him to school, work until 5, home by 6, dinner together, homework, bedtime stories. Normal. God, it felt good to be normal. Tyler started Little League that spring. I didn't miss a single game. Not one. He got better. Started pitching. His coach said he had a real arm. I stood behind the fence and watched my kid be a kid. That's all I ever wanted. 3 months into the new routine, Tyler's school held a fundraiser. Spring carnival, games, food trucks, silent auction. "You coming, Dad?" Tyler asked. Wouldn't miss it. My parents came too. We walked through the carnival together, Tyler dragging us from booth to booth. I was watching him try to knock down milk bottles when someone spoke behind me. "You must be Tyler's dad." I turned. A woman stood there. Late 30s, maybe. Warm smile. Professional but approachable. "I'm Maryanne Green," she said. "Tyler's teacher, Greg Robinson." I shook her hand. "Nice to meet you. Tyler's doing excellent work this semester. He seems much happier." "Yeah, we've had a rough year. But things are better now." She nodded, understanding in her eyes. Not pity, just understanding. "I'm glad to hear it. He's a great kid." Tyler came running over. "Dad, did you see? I won a goldfish." I saw. "Where are we going to put it?" "I'll figure it out." He ran off again. Maryanne laughed. "He's got energy. Always. You volunteering today?" "Yeah. Silent auction." "Me too. Bake sale table." Turns out we had the same shift. 2 hours at the bake sale table, selling cookies and brownies to kids hopped up on carnival games. We talked. Easy conversation. Natural. She asked about my work. I told her about Blackstone, about consulting, about finally being home every night. I asked about teaching. She told me about 3rd grade, about the challenges, about why she loved it, despite everything. "You have kids?" I asked. "No. Divorced. No children of my own." "Ah. You?" "Just Tyler. And that's more than enough." She smiled. "I bet." We sold cookies, talked some more. She mentioned grabbing coffee sometime to discuss Tyler's progress. I agreed. We both knew it wasn't just about academics. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into regular dates. Maryanne never pushed, never tried to meet Tyler outside of school, never inserted herself into our routine. She gave me space, respected boundaries. I appreciated that. 6 months in, I decided it was time. "How about the zoo this Saturday?" I asked Tyler at breakfast. "Just us?" "Actually, my friend Maryanne might come too, if that's okay." He looked up, thoughtful. "Your teacher friend?" "Yeah." "Okay." Saturday at the zoo, Tyler was nervous at first. Maryanne didn't try too hard, didn't act fake, just treated him like a person worth listening to. They talked about the Lions, about baseball. about his favorite subjects. By the time we left, Tyler was laughing at something Maryanne said. In the car, he asked, "Is she your girlfriend?" "Yeah, she is." "Okay." That was it. No drama. No questions. Just, okay. A year later, Maryanne moved in. She fit. That's the best way to describe it. She just fit. Helped with homework. Made breakfast sometimes. Watched baseball games with us. Never tried to replace anyone. Never overstepped. My parents loved her. Tyler loved her. And I loved her. 6 months after that, I knew what I had to do. Family dinner on a Friday night. My parents were over. Tyler was talking about his upcoming game. I stood up, cleared my throat. "Before dessert, I've got something to say." Everyone looked at me. I pulled the ring from my pocket, got down on one knee. Maryanne's eyes went wide. "Maryanne Green, you've made my life better in every possible way. You've been patient with me, kind to Tyler, and you've never tried to be something you're not. Will you marry me?" She started crying. Happy tears. "Yes, God, yes." I slid the ring on her finger. Tyler cheered, loud, louder than anyone. "Can I help plan the wedding?" he asked immediately. Maryanne laughed through her tears. "Of course you can." My mother was crying. My father was grinning. It was perfect. 2 weeks later, my phone rang. Riza. I almost didn't answer, but I knew why she was calling. "Hello." "You're replacing me," she said, voice shaking with fury. "You're erasing me from his life." "No, I'm moving forward. There's a difference. She's going to be his stepmother. She's going to be my wife. And yes, she'll be in Tyler's life. But she's not replacing you. You're his mother." Nothing changes that. He told me about the engagement. He was excited. He didn't even seem upset. Why would he be upset? Maryanne's been good to him. She treats him well. I'm his mother. Then act like it. You've got supervised visitation. You've missed 4 visits in the last 3 months. Keep it up, and I'll petition to reduce them further. You can't? I can, and I will. You want to be in Tyler's life? Show up. Be present. Stop blaming everyone else for your choices. Silence. Maryanne isn't your enemy, Riza. She's just my future. You can accept that, or you can keep losing ground. Your call. I hung up. Maryanne was watching me from the kitchen. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. She's angry? She'll get over it, or she won't. Either way, we're moving forward. Maryanne smiled, crossed the room, kissed me. I love you. I love you too. October came with crisp air and golden leaves. Perfect weather for a wedding. We kept it small. Close friends, family. That's it. Tyler stood beside me in a little suit, grinning so wide I thought his face might crack. You ready, Dad? He asked. My chest went tight. Yeah, buddy. I'm ready. He'd asked to be my best man. Didn't want anyone else. How do you say no to that? The ceremony was in my parents' backyard. White chairs, simple arch. Maryanne's parents on one side, mine on the other. Thomas, Brody, and Daniel were there. Few other Army guys. Some of Maryanne's teacher friends. Maybe 40 people total. The officiant started talking. I barely heard him. I was watching Maryanne walk down the aisle with her father, her dress simple and perfect, her smile brighter than the October sun. She reached me, took my hands. Hi, she whispered. Hi. Tyler giggled beside me. The vows went by fast, too fast. Then the officiant said, You may kiss the bride. I kissed Maryanne. Tyler cheered, loud, louder than anyone. Everyone laughed. I pulled back, grinning, and Tyler was practically bouncing. We're married, he announced to everyone. They're married. Yeah, kid, we are. The reception was right there in the backyard. Tables covered in white cloth. String lights overhead. Music playing. Tyler ran around with Thomas's kids and Brody's daughter, all of them chasing each other between the tables. My mother cried happy tears. My father kept clapping me on the shoulder. Maryanne's parents welcomed me into their family with hugs that felt genuine. We danced, ate, laughed. For the first time in years, everything felt light, like the weight I'd been carrying finally lifted. That night, after Tyler crashed hard from all the cake and running, Maryanne and I sat on our porch. She was still in her dress. I'd loosened my tie. "Do you think she'll ever stop being angry?" she asked quietly. I knew who she meant. "Probably not," I said, "but that's her burden, not mine. It doesn't bother you." "No. I did what I had to do to protect Tyler. Everything else was just fallout." She leaned against me. "I love you. I love you too." 5 years later. Tyler's 12 now, tall for his age, smart as hell, plays baseball like I used to, all heart, no quit. He sees Riza once a month, his choice. The judge gave him that autonomy when he turned 11. Asked Tyler what he wanted. Tyler said once a month was enough. Riza took it hard. But what could she say? She's cleaned up her act, from what I hear. Steady job. Less blaming. Less anger. But the damage is permanent. You don't come back from what she did. Not with a kid. Tyler's polite during visits, answers her questions, lets her hug him. But there's distance. The kind that comes from broken trust. The kind that doesn't heal. Last year, on Mother's Day, Tyler made cards at school. He brought 2 home. One said, "To Mom," in his messy handwriting. He handed it to Maryanne. She cried. So did I. Tyler looked worried. "Is that okay?" Maryanne pulled him into a hug. "It's more than okay." Riza found out. Don't know how. Maybe Tyler mentioned it during a visit. She didn't fight it. What else could she do? Haven't seen Damien in years. Heard through the grapevine his wife divorced him. Found out about the affair. He moved out of state, trying to rebuild with his own kids. Barely scrapes by on child support, from what I understand. I don't think about him much anymore. He was just a symptom. A weak man who preyed on a vulnerable woman, and a selfish woman who chose her desires over her child's safety. They both learned the same lesson. Actions have consequences. And when you threaten what I love, I don't forgive. I don't forget. I just make damn sure you never get the chance to do it again. I'm not proud of the violence. Not proud. I beat a man half to death in my living room, but I'm not ashamed either. That moment set everything in motion. Showed Riza I wasn't playing games. Showed Damien he'd picked the wrong family. Showed Tyler his father would do anything to keep him safe. These days, I sleep easy. Tyler's thriving. Straight A's. Starting pitcher on his team. Maryanne's pregnant. A girl. Due in 3 months. My parents are healthy. Happy. 10 minutes away. The house is filled with laughter. Homework battles. Baseball gear everywhere. Hope. And somewhere across town, Riza lives her small, diminished life. Sees Tyler once a month, if he feels like it. Watches from a distance as he builds a future that doesn't include her. That's not revenge. That's just consequences. And I sleep just fine with that. I believe stories such as this find us for a reason. If this one touches you, please subscribe. I share a new one every day. In the meantime, there are 2 stories on the screen that are even better.